How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to some more Link to the Past. In today's video, we're going to be going through the Ice Palace, which is a very fun dungeon, but it's a little confusing. Just some of the areas, and there's some rooms that have like the door on each side, so one on the top, one on the bottom, one on the left, and the right, and it can get a little confusing. And I haven't really played through this game in a hot minute, so I did lose my way a little bit. But I think I cut it pretty well so that it's not overly long in terms of me being lost and whatnot, so that shouldn't be a big issue with timing of the video, because I like to keep the videos semi shortish. I mean, 20 minutes isn't exactly particularly short, but it's not an hour long video or half hour, so that's about where I like the video length to be at, around the 20-minute mark, 25 minutes. So first thing you want to do is head down to this room, because that's really the only way you can go, and we fight off these evil penguins. However, if you use any of your medallions, you can like bully them, even if you just freeze them, because they'll still be frozen, then you can just whack them. But the Bombos medallion really works well with killing them, and then you'll get your magic back just by killing them. So I would honestly go ahead and use your medallions if you aren't using them, because I think I've said this in previous videos a few times, that I never used my medallions when I was younger, so I always just struggled my way through the game when that's really not necessary, because of how often everything drops magic, and for all the magic you get, like, gotta make use of it, you know? I don't know if I've done it in this playthrough, but you can kill those little flying things with your magic powder. I don't really like doing it, because I feel more often than not, when I try to get them, I end up losing more magic, like I just did there, but it's alright. So, we don't actually need to come through this way. As you can see, I just kind of wasted time, I suppose, going through that room, but at least we got to experience it already. A little bit ahead of time, which is no big deal. But I guess we technically did have to go to that room just so we could step on the switch. So for this room here, we got these little red suckers, which for some reason don't take damage from the boomerang. So I think arrows would probably be your best bet if you want to keep your distance. Or I think you could use your medallions as well, but I tend to just like slashing them with my sword, or completely ignoring them, or throwing a skull at them, which I don't know if I missed it there, or if it just didn't work. Whatever the case may be, kill them however you want to, or ignore them, whatever floats your boat. You could just use the cave to avoid them if you want, or you could use the cane that we got in one of the previous videos to just bypass them. Whatever floats your boat. And then once we're done killing everything, we can place a bomb over by the crystal, and then we're going to drop to the floor below once we bomb the crack on the floor, and then there's going to be I don't think they're new to this game. I think I've fought them before, but maybe not. But there's going to be some Stelfos. And the way to kill these guys, it's pretty similar to some of the other games. What you do is smack them with the sword, and then bomb them. Now, I think these guys were in Zelda 1 and 2, but I don't think you needed bombs to kill them. I don't recall using bombs to kill them in Zelda 1, and I haven't really played Zelda 2 enough to know, so I know there's a crack in the floor there, but apparently it's just the upper layer of the floor, I suppose, that it's not fully crackable or bombable, so you can just ignore it. Although I did it twice there just in case it for some reason didn't register, but nah, you can't do anything with it. So we can head into this room, and what you're going to want to do in this room, unless you're feeling bold, use your magic cape. It's going to make this whole process a lot easier, and you're going to save yourself a little bit of damage taking, so that's always nice, right? So we're going to head up to this room here, or down here I should say, and make sure that the switch is to the, shoot, I don't even know what color it has to be. I don't know, just if those tiles up there, the orange ones, are up, just make sure you go back to the previous room and then knock them down. That's all you gotta do. And then these guys will occasionally drop magic potions, or I think they're magic potions, just baby versions, so you can replenish some of your magic that way. And another room with some of these weird duck guys, you can use the Bombos medallions to take care of them easily, or you can just whack them around with a sort of spin attack, and that takes care of them really fast as well. So then we head on up to this room, and I think the strategy for this room, when you enter it so you don't take damage, I think you just stand in the doorway, similar to how you handle some of the floor tile rooms. So, do what you gotta do to survive. This room here, there's some skulls that we can throw to get some items. Otherwise, you're gonna have to drop down to the floor below, and we're gonna be somewhat close to the dungeon item, but it's not this floor. I believe it's the floor below. And that sign there is a good indication that you're gonna need a lot of magic powder. Now, you could bring yourself some green potion if you really want to. It's not super necessary. It's just good to have. You know, you're not finding any magic potion anywhere. But for the most part, I feel it's fairly common in this dungeon compared to some of the other ones, just because some of the enemies have a higher frequency to drop it, at least from my experience. I don't know if that's actually the case, like they have higher frequency of dropping them, but it seems like those ducks drop a lot more magic powder, whatever, magic jars, whatever it's supposed to be, than some of the other enemies in the game, so good way to get your magic back. And we want to keep that skull there, just in case you need to head back over to this way. Otherwise, you can just ignore it, like I just did, and toss it away. And you don't need to use your magic cape to walk over this way, because you can just boomerang, or not boomerang, hookshot over, and that'll get you back as well. Giving us another key. Head through this door if you'd like, and it just takes you back to this room. So technically, I don't think you need to use that key at all. You might be able to save it, but you know, for the sake of completion, it is now used. So good there. And I think we're getting the big key pretty quick now. So there's a key there. Turned to Bunny Long for some reason. I always wonder why he has red eyes when he's a bunny. That never really made too much sense to me. But I don't know, I guess it's magic. And then you pull the sucker's tongue. That opens the door there. And I think this is one of the first times that we actually get to pull one of their tongues and have it open a door. Which sounds really weird, but it's how the Hyrulean builders did this dungeon. Pull that one there if you need to head back to the room, which I don't think you really need to at this moment. And this chest here is going to contain the big key. So you might be wondering, what in the Sam Hill is the dungeon item going to be? Like, we only have a couple spots left for items. Only got the one there, so you're like, well, what is it going to be, you know? And it's actually going to be the blue mail, which is going to reduce damage by, I think, half. So that is very useful to have. Because at this point in the Dark World, a lot of enemies are just kind of destroying us. So it's going to be nice to have that extra layer of defense from now on and make it just a little bit easier. Although some of the enemies do still deal a ridiculous amount of damage. But fortunately, there is one more thing that we will get that'll make that just a tiny bit easier. Which comes up in a later dungeon. So we can head back to this room here. And now we're going to be making our way towards getting the mail upgrade. I have to sneeze, oh no. Oh, my apologies. Whew. See if I remember to cut that out or not. And once we're back in this room, we do have to kill these guys again. Use the bombs on them, slash them with the sword, etc. And then we are going to be finding our way back into this room. Again, use the magic cape, or if you're feeling bold, walk through it. Which I was not feeling bold because my skill is sometimes horrendous. Although every now and then I will have that occasional moment where I just succeed, you know? So at this point, we're about halfway through the dungeon. And for Nice Palace, I feel the blue mail was maybe given a tiny bit too late. I feel that the blue mail should have been given to us the previous dungeon. Because we're at what? Dungeon 5? And there's only, what, 6, 7, 8? 3 more main dungeons left and then one final one. But I don't know. I feel 4 would have been a better number to give you the blue mail at, and maybe get the sword upgrade after the defense upgrade, you know? But it works well enough. So, don't perish like I did right there. I knew that was coming. I know this block kind of looks like you might be able to do something with it, but you can't. And I don't remember if I cut that part out of me trying to get it or not. I might have, because I was lost for a little bit. You might be wondering, well, I don't really see any spots for splits. That's usually because if I did the splits, it was usually from me, like room transitions. And then some of the times I would actually just like pause the game until the music relooped to a certain point, which was probably a bit overkill, but I like the way things flow smoothly. So here's our blue mail, and now we have a very cool outfit. I think this is probably my favorite outfit in the game, the yellow hat with the blue tunic. And I don't know how exactly it's supposed to work in game. I'm assuming it's just thicker material and possibly magic, because that's really the only way I could see it working, if it's some sort of magic going on. But I don't know how that works entirely, so it gives us more defense. That's all you need to know. And here begins the world of a little heart ring thingy going off, but thankfully there's plenty of pots in this room. And there's actually a key in the top left that I get a little later on, because for whatever the reason, I didn't feel like going over there right now. I knew there was a key in this room, but then I got distracted by taking damage at that moment there. And I was like, oh, what am I doing again? But we'll get the key in a little bit. Another key. So like I said earlier, I think that had we not used that key on the one door there, I think we'd have an extra key left over. Which I don't know if it would have helped with, like, getting through the temple faster or not. Maybe it would have, but I don't know. I'm not familiar with speedrunning in this game. I'm not even really familiar with a lot of the dungeons in this game right off the bat, just because it's been a hot minute. But I am really enjoying this game, this playthrough so far. Definitely one of the reasons that I really like A Link Between Worlds, just because it's so much like this game, but I do think I like A Link Between Worlds a bit more, just because, I don't know, something just feels like really smooth about that game. Like, I feel it definitely improves in a lot of ways over this game, but I do like the maps the same, so I guess it's a combination of nostalgia and just better gameplay elements. Either way, it does a really good job, so who knows, maybe one of these days I'll get going on that Link Between Worlds remake playthrough or whatever I decide to call it. So for some reason, that bomb there, it didn't knock down the Stalfos. I don't know why that is. Even though it was standing up, like, why is it only a weakness when it's down? It's a little strange, but it is what it is, you know? So having the blue mail, I'm kind of wondering, like, are we technically better defended than we were at the beginning of the game versus the normal enemies, versus the enemies now? Because they did 100 damage each, didn't they? Like the swords? The soldiers? I don't know, because those guys there just did 2 hearts of damage, so I don't know. And this was the little cut I was talking about. Just getting that key from that pot there. That's why I talked about getting the key when I was in this room earlier. But now that we got it, we are good to go. I kind of feel like the boss of this dungeon doesn't really have too much to do with ice. You'll kind of see what I mean in a little bit, but it just seems like a weird choice. And if you're low on health at this point, like I am, there's actually a little spot where we get some fairies. And a weird thing you'll notice is that when you're Bunny Link, you don't have the current tunic color, which is very strange. I don't know if that's a... Is it like some sort of... Is that intentional or is it an error? Because it was made for the GBA. How they... I don't know. I don't know. I believe either hole you drop through here just leads you down to the fairy room, so... Do whatever you wish, and then you can get some fairies. And we do have an empty bottle now, because I used the red potion, so... Get a fairy there. And at this point we are just about ready for the boss, but I did feel like showing off the fairies here on the left side. Just to let you know that you can get more fairies if you'd like. And I think it actually might be the same room. I think the fairies just respawn. Because the room looks identical. I'm assuming it's just the same room. So now we are ready for the boss fight. Which just involves a little bit of backtracking. But nothing too major. And we have counter versus the icy floor, which doesn't always go well, but I eventually get on the switch. And I can't remember what Zelda game it was. I could have sworn there was one that there's a certain item or this thing you do that prevents you from sliding on the ice. I don't remember which game that is or what item you use. But now that these little blocks are down, we can toss that. And I believe in the SNES version there was a trick that you could do using the item from the next dungeon that would allow you to somehow bypass some of the colored blocks. I don't know how you do that though. And it might have, I think it's removed from this version so you can't do it anymore, but it is what it is. And that is like one of the first times I've used bomb offensively that wasn't against stealth hosts. Which I'm very proud of myself for, because I don't really use the items all that creatively very often. So, we are just about in the boss room. It is just going to be a drop down, which... It's very interesting how some of these boss rooms are set up. Like the way that you get down to them. Because we didn't even use a boss key. And what I was talking about earlier is the boss not being very ice related. It is just a pink ball that is covered in ice. Like, once we get rid of this ice, that's it. There's no more ice attacks or anything. So, I don't know, it's a weird cloud boss. I don't know what to say about it. And we have the tempered sword, so we're good. Just an easy cloud boss, and we can just tank hits even more now with the blue tunic, so we're good there. That's gonna do it for this video. I'm just gonna let the maiden do the rest of the talking. So I want to thank you guys all for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.